Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, I'm going to take a look at the Ballon d'Or nominees from every year. Yep, going back to 2004 and finding the one footballer who was a bit disrespected. These players shouldn't necessarily have won the award, not while Ronaldo and Messi still have air in their lungs, but they should definitely have been placed higher. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these footballers left the Ballon d'Or ceremony and immediately felt like drowning themselves in a goldfish bowl. The absolute disrespect. 2004 Thierry Henry, yeah. Starting off the video and I'm actually defending Thierry Henry. Feels a bit weird. But lads, alright, no, I wouldn't complain if Thierry Henry stepped on an upturned plug, and I wouldn't blink an eye if he was devoured by a family of rabid badgers. But I'm not so blinded by rage that I can't admit that yes, he was a world-class footballer. And I'm sorry, there was only one footballer who should be lifting the Ballon d'Or in 2004, and it wasn't Andrei Shevchenko. During 2004, during that year, this man was utterly unplayable. Throughout the entire calendar year, he scored 43 goals for Arsenal in 50 games. He won an invincible league title, put a hat-trick past Liverpool, scored a couple at Euro 2004, and almost forced Stevie G into early therapy. The fact he didn't win the Ballon d'Or, it was a farce. But the fact he came in 4th, 10 votes behind DZEKO, Andrei Shevchenko won it, and to be fair, he had a great year for AC Milan. But he scored less goals than Henry. 27 people voted Shevchenko in first place on their polling card. By contrast, just three people voted for Henry. Where do they get these people from? The local shelter for the blind? 2005 John Terry. Look, I'm not saying John Terry should have won the award in 2005, but he might have expected to be a bit higher than 10th. Again, this was in an era before Ronaldo and Messi. It was a bit easier to win. Ronaldinho hoovered it up, and he'd been dumped out of the Champions League last 16. Frank Lampard finished second, a whopping 33 votes ahead of his Chelsea teammate John Terry. It kind of shows the utter bias against defenders in these lists, doesn't it?
Oh, Lampard scores more goals than Terry. Let's vote for him.
Listen, Lampard's a great footballer and had an incredible 2005. But Terry captained his club to a first league title in 50 years, scored the iconic winning goal against Barcelona, was put in the FIFA Pro World 11, and was part of a rock-solid defence that was top of the league every bastard week of the calendar year, keeping 32 clean sheets. Can you really say Lampard was that much better at his job than John Terry that year? The absolute bias towards attackers, because apparently Zlatan Ibrahimovic had a better 2005 than John Terry. He scored 12 bastard goals in the league all year, 32 clean sheets versus 12 league goals. 2006 LUCA TONI. Okay, 2006 was the year defenders finally got some recognition, voting World Cup winning Italian defender Fabio Cannavaro into top spot. And his second place was a goalkeeper, so yeah, good. But there was still disrespect. LUCA TONI came in 20th. Picking up 2 measly votes. This was the year where Zidane retired in mid-July and came in 5th. Wasn't this supposed to be over an entire calendar year? Toni had finished as Serie A top scorer with 33 goals for little old Fiorentina. He won the European Golden Shoe, won a World Cup, made the team of the tournament, scored 2 in a quarter-final against Ukraine, and he still comes in below the likes of Lukas Podolski, who spent half the year stuffed on Bayern Munich's bench, 11 votes below Jens Lehmann, who was sent off after 20 minutes in a Champions League final. Toni should have been top 10 at least. 20th is an utter insult and more example of big club bias. 2007 Carlos Tevez. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Carlos Tevez in 2007 was a bit better than being the 30th best footballer in the world. He'd single-handedly kept a team of Nigel Quashis and Martin Harewood in the league, got a big money move to Man United, and it mainly formed the deadliest three-pronged attack in Europe. No, he shouldn't have won the thing, but just one vote? Below Yunus Mahmoud of Al Jafara? Justice for Tevez. 2008 Samuel Eto'o. Samuel Eto'o was disrespected throughout his entire career. From Real Madrid writing him off as a failed youngster, Pep Guardiola continually trying to boot him out the door, before Jose Mourinho called him an old man at Chelsea. To be different, Eto'o helped both these managers to win a f***ing treble. I don't know where the disrespect comes from, because in his prime, i.e. 2008, this guy was one of the most lethal centre forwards on the planet. 2008 was the year Ronaldo won his first Ballon d'Or. Fine, but Eto'o coming in 17th was nothing short of a disgrace. That calendar year he'd scored 20 league goals for Barcelona. 17 more than Lionel Messi, by the way, who came in second. Andrei Arshavin, after just 4 decent games in Euro 2008 and beating Rangers in Europe's second-rate competition, apparently that was enough to finish in 6th. Emmanuel Adebayor finished above him in 12th, and he played the second half of 2008 as if he was asleep. Chucking Eto'o in so low, such a lack of recognition for a guy who should have come in the top 5 at least. By the way lads, try to 500k as soon as possible. If you want to slap a big subscribe, honestly, you'd be an absolute hero. Alright, let's get back into the video. 2009 Frank Lampard. Okay, I'm never going to argue the fact that Lionel Messi was the rightful winner in 2009. Obviously. And it's right the top 10 was littered with members of Barcelona's treble winning team. But still, Frank Lampard should probably feel hard done by for coming in 21st. 2009 was arguably this man's peak. Scored at Wembley 5 times for England, netted an FA Cup final winning goal for Chelsea, and under Carlo Ancelotti was probably the most feared number 8 in Europe. He finished though with just 5 measly points. By contrast, Kaká, who spent half the year in a wheelchair, finished 6th with 10 times as many votes. Lads, even Ryan Giggs nearly stuck into the bastard top 10, and he only completed a 90-minute game 16 times that year. 2010, Julio Cesar. Lads, in 2010, Julio Cesar was the treble-winning goalkeeper for Inter Milan. He was arguably the undisputed best shot stopper on the planet, and he gets rewarded for this by coming in 19th, taking just 0.22% of the vote, finishing lower in the voting than Asamoah Gyan out of in Sunderland. I'm convinced people only voted for him out of sheer sympathy and partly unadulterated hatred for all things Luis Suarez, putting Julio Cesar below a guy who bottled the World Cup semi-final and spent half the year playing up front with Danny Welbeck. Really? 2011, Gerard Piqué. Lads, in 2011, Gerard Piqué was arguably the best centre-back on the planet. He didn't put a foot wrong for Barcelona all year. He lifted a league title, a Super Cup at España, a Champions League title at Wembley, UEFA Super Cup and FIFA Club World Cup. And yet, because defenders are so often forgotten, he picked up just 0.22% of the vote, finishing rock bottom even below Nani. 2012, Sergio Aguero. Okay, 2012 is utter proof that big moments and big away games swayed the voters. Because I'm sorry, for a minute, just forget that Chelsea Champions League miracle win in Bayern Munich. If you ignored that game, no chance in hell does Didier Drogba come in 8th. Because do you know how many Premier League goals Drogba scored in 2012? 2. Against Bolton and Stoke, and he spent the second half of the year drowning in cash at the backhouses of China. Aguero finished all the way down to 17th with just 0.3% of the vote. He scored 22 goals for Man City that year, including a last-minute winner to give them the Premier League title. How are you saying Drogba was a better player than him in 2012? 2013, Luis Suarez. Okay, 2013 was the year football hipsters worldwide thought Frank Ribery was robbed because he won far more trophies than Ronaldo and Messi that year. But you're forgetting the Ballon d'Or is an individual award, not a team one. That's what we have trophies for. So the fact Ribery scored 22 to Messi's 42 and Ronaldo's 60, you're damn right the Frenchman is only coming in 3rd. Luis Suarez though, maybe because he didn't lift any trophy, but he was desperately overlooked. His performances for Liverpool in 2013 were on an utter world-class level. Not many footballers on planet Earth were playing better than him. But the marketability of a world transfer record Gareth Bale, that managed to get him inside the top 10. But Suarez, after 33 goals in the calendar year, 10 more goals than Bale by the way, he comes 19th in the voting with just 0.39% of the vote. This man nearly single-handedly yanked a Liverpool team with Kolo Touré and John Flanagan to the Premier League title. Bale finished 5th in the league with Spurs. 2014, Sergio Ramos. Yeah, I think Sergio Ramos was overlooked in 2014. No, he was never going to win the thing. But was he not even worth a look in the top 10? Sure, James Rodriguez saving his best games for the World Cup. That was always going to catch the attention and put him in the top 6. But Ramos was a rock solid Champions League winning captain centre half for Real Madrid. He scored in the Champions League final. He rescued them. I don't know, I think he deserved a bit more than 0.33% of the vote. 2015, Luis Suarez. Yeah, Luis Suarez yet again disrespected in the Ballon d'Or awards. Lads, I would have picked him for 2014 as well, but he wasn't even nominated. I'm convinced it's the fact he's a part-time cannibal. That's what's stopping him from getting recognition at these awards. Lads, he came 5th in 2015. Great, but he should have been getting on the podium. The marketability of Neymar pushed him up to 3rd, but Suarez, not only did he win every competition available to Barcelona, he scored 40 goals in the calendar year, getting 3.38% of the vote, coming in 5th behind Robert Lewandowski, who scored less goals than him by the way. But then again, if you score 5 goals in less than 9 minutes, that's what people are going to remember, not the fact you were outscored by a Champions League winner. What more did Suarez have to do? 2016, N'Golo Kante. Alright lads, the first inclusion here who didn't even make the Ballon d'Or voting list. Lads, how was N'Golo Kante not nominated? He'd won the PFA Player of the Year. He spent the entire 2016 pretty much top of the league with both Leicester and Chelsea. But Leicester, by the way. Sure, the attacking talents of Jamie Vardy and Riyad Mahrez, they could get on the list, despite them spending the second half of 2016 in a relegation scrap. But Kante, he was top of the league all year long. How did he not even get invited to the ceremony? The likes of Dimitri Payet at West Ham, he made this voting card. Arturo Vidal, Thomas Muller, Paul Pogba. Are we really saying these players are better 2016s than Kante? Absolute disgrace. 2017, Edin Dzeko. Alright, Edin Dzeko is big, lanky, and unfashionable. Nah, he's never gonna get any recognition at award ceremonies. But 2017, don't ignore the stats. He scored 32 goals for Roma. No, I wouldn't have expected him to win the thing, but he was almost forgotten about in the voting. He picked up just 2 measly votes. Ronaldo, by contrast, got nearly 1,000. It was a season on par with the standard of Harry Kane, who just strolled into the top 10. But of course, that's the marketability of being England's number 9. Why was Dzeko just forgotten about? 2018, Lionel Messi. This was an absolute disgrace. Lionel Messi, arguably the greatest footballer to ever grace the planet, coming in 5th in a Ballon d'Or standing. Was this some sort of joke? During 2018, Messi played 54 times for club and country, and he scored 51 goals and racked up 26 assists. This man was responsible for 77 goals in 2018, and you're putting him at 5th. It's almost like the world has just become accustomed to these freakish stats. 2019 Karim Benzema. Karim Benzema picked up 1 vote at last year's Ballon d'Or. Sure, Messi reclaimed top spot, and there was a smattering of Liverpool players in the top 10, fine. But Benzema should have squeezed his way into the top 6 at least. Stepping up to replace Ronaldo's void at Real Madrid, he battered home 35 goals in 2019. For an Asian centre forward not renowned for his goals, this is incredible. I'm sorry, but how is he finished below the likes of Hugo Lloris, Son Heung-min and Eden Hazard? It makes absolutely no sense. Anyway, that's it. Let me know you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.